Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel and also my creative life. I am making a really fun wedding card today using products from Jen Lee's Schoolcraft website where we make pretty crafty things. Now I'll get to her website later on, but I wanted to show you this stamp set from Matilda and Godfrey. Now I know what you're thinking. Didn't she say wedding card? Yes, I did. So when I saw this stamp set, I knew I had to make a wedding card. So what I did first is I went ahead and I stamped the images, the male one with the top hat and the others, there's only one other female. So I stamped those first because I wanted them to like dry really well before I started coloring them. So you'll see me do this. I tried stamping them just by myself with the acrylic block, but I noticed that they weren't really clean cut or clean stamped images, so that's why I took out the MISTI and I did them again that way. And now I'm going through my paper pads. I like to use 6x6 pads when possible when doing cards because the print is a lot smaller, so to me it looks a lot nicer. Now I did say wedding card, so I still wanted something floral, but I also wanted them dark. I asked my daughter what the bride's favorite colors are. She said pink, blue. I love pink, so I went ahead and grabbed some of these papers from Blue Blooms, which is from Recollections, and I believe that's from Michael's. But I'm going to make a tunnel card. So by making a tunnel card, you're basically using whatever shape you're using. I'm using ovals, and then you start with a couple different pieces of paper and you kind of have them like nestled inside each other. So I have a larger oval and then a little bit smaller one, and you'll see it as I'm going through. Now I have this oval cutter, and it's also a circle one that I've had, probably one of the first tools that I purchased through Creative Memories. I believe they still have this system, believe it or not. It's really simple, and I've had this for over 20 years, probably well over 25 years now, and I've never had to change the blades. It works wonderful. So you can tell by when I put them on top of each other, the margins between the oval openings are just a little bit off. So I'm going to fix that when I end up laying it all together. But what I wanted to do as well is I wanted to die cut some foliage. That sounds weird. Did I say it right? I don't know, but you know what I mean. Leaves, lacy things, that kind of fun stuff. So I used the leftovers of the paper pad and then cut some out. Now those die cuts are also from Jen Lee Schoolcraft. So they've got lots of great crafty supplies at really great prices. Very budget friendly. Products are new, some are slightly used, and a lot of the new ones, and I guess slightly used, are like discontinued products, things that are no longer sold online or in stores. So you find great products for really great prices, and I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, check it out. You will find stuff. So originally I was going to put the two skull images inside using the white paper, and then I was going to kind of like ink around it, blah blah blah. But then I thought that just seemed like a lot of work. So after I colored the images, and I just used some alcohol markers, and I kept it pretty subtle because I didn't want it to be super colorful, and but I did want to do the hair the same color as the bride, and like I said, very pale skin, or because it's a bone, but I didn't want white. But I just used alcohol markers for that, like I mentioned before. I'm going to be using a lot of foam tape because between the layers of that tunnel card, I want there to be space so you can really see the dimension of the card. I'm still kind of messing around, not really 100% sure what I'm going to do. I did stamp the word congratulations, and I did it on this little banner piece. I'm going to cut it so it's a little bit thinner because I didn't have lots of room in that oval in the middle. As you can see that I keep kind of playing around with it, and see how I just tuck it in right there. I'm going to put some liquid adhesive and glue it underneath that top layer, and then also put a foam tape on there because it needs to be lifted up, because I'm going to be putting some foam tape, like I mentioned, between layers, and you'll see me do that in just a minute. So let me just tell you a little bit about this bride. So it's my daughter's, one of her best friends, and she is the sweetest thing ever, and she loves all things Halloween. So like I mentioned before, when I saw this skull, and she's getting married in October. Sorry, left that little bit out. When I saw the skull stamps, I thought, I've got to do something wedding-ish with this. I'm telling you, this might be one of my favorite cards because I really felt like I thought outside the box as far as keeping it still floral and I don't want to say lovey, but floral and pretty and blingy and all those things that you think of when you think of a wedding. But also, I really am making it especially for the bride and groom. And like I said, I know she's going to love it. And the bad part is she's going to probably see this video, or she's going to see it posted on my social media and go, this is probably for me. But anyhow, that's okay. Maybe she'll forget by the time her wedding comes around. But I just put some liquid adhesive on some of those, I'm going to call them lacy things or leafy things. And because again, I wanted some in the bottom layer, I wanted some in the middle, I wanted some in the top, which you can see me kind of still messing around with it. I use liquid adhesive. I cut off some of the leaves because some of it was going too far off the card. I still want it to fit into a regular size envelope. I didn't want to make a custom envelope for this, but you could barely tell. I mean, I tried to cut like at the stem so you couldn't really tell that it was just chopped off. And I still think it turned out so good. I hope you agree. And if you do, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do post at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking, and the other is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center. And the command center is the name of my craft room and also my blog. I'll have a link to my blog and also to my Instagram account in the information box, as well as a link to the Jen Lee Schoolcraft website, because like I mentioned before, I know you're going to want to check it out. The products are wonderful. Plus, if you use my name, my first name, which is Dorleen, and the spelling will be in the information box, you'll get an additional 10% off. So that is quite the savings. So I hope you take advantage of that. But here I am. So you see how I have like these little tails of the foam adhesive, just so I didn't want to remove it all the way because I really needed to make sure that I had it even. So see how I put it down. Once I realized that's where it needs to be, I just pull them off and it comes off easily. For some reason the top one didn't, but all I did was just peel it off just a little bit, and then I peeled off the cover of the adhesive. It worked out fine. I'm not really sure why that one didn't work, but maybe it was just a little torn on one end and I didn't realize it when I put it down. But you know what? It's all good. I do end up putting some more foam adhesive on the skulls, and I'm going to tell you right now, I end up, see how it has that like the handlebar mustache, I end up cutting those off because they're so thin, and I just didn't like the way I fussy cut it out. And I thought, you know what, he doesn't have a mustache. I mean, he has a little one, but he doesn't have a long mustache like that. And you know what, it's supposed to be him-ish. So I just gave him a little trim, and you'll see that in a little bit as well. But like I mentioned before, I do hope you like this video, and if you do, give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. I do lots of different crafts, paper crafts. I do stuff with my Cricut, which involves vinyl and HTV, home decorations, party decorations, painting. I have a junk journal, and I have playlists for all of those different types of crafts. So if you're only interested in one kind, you don't have to go through my entire channel. You can definitely go and just click on the playlist and check them out. But I think you would enjoy it. At least I enjoy making them. So thank you so much for watching. Again, please just take a minute to look at this card. Once I know where everything is, I put that, the lacy bits here and there. So I went to my stash and I grabbed some bling. I really wanted to put that gold bling, but I don't know if you can tell, but there's a rose gold on the floral pieces, and so I didn't want to put a gold with a rose gold. I don't know if anybody would have really said anything or noticed, but I did, so I didn't want to do it. So I just did the black bling, and then at the end, which I don't really show you, I don't think, I have some really small rhinestones that I put kind of in the corners as well, and you'll see that at the final photo of the card. So this little tulle, I don't know, disc, I guess, that's from Queen & Company. And so you could see I just cut it apart because I just wanted a little piece because, again, this is a wedding card. So I wanted her to have a little veil. And I just used some liquid adhesive, and I used that white bling to kind of hold it down. But because it just wasn't strong enough, I ended up using some glue dots, and I had some really mini ones, and so I tucked in, I kind of like, how would you say that, like instead of, a glue dot is round and flat, so I used my pick tool and I just kind of smushed it together so it was a lot smaller, and then I just used 2 of them because I felt like it needed really extra strength, and even the mini was a little bit too big for that round rhinestone. So when I smushed them, if that's the right word to use, they both fit perfectly under there. So it held so much better. But isn't this card so fun? I put a white piece of paper in the inside because of the black cardstock. That way I could just use a regular pen. And I actually use one of the other leafy things that I die cut and put it in the inside. I don't think I show it, but you could definitely, she'll see it. But you can see here, you can't see the small rhinestones because I don't put them on yet, but I will when you see the final pictures at the end. But I do hope you like this. This was a really fun card. Like I said, probably one of my favorites for the year, and it's, the middle of the year. So anyhow, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Bye.